Football Terrace. I'm joined by the Don of football YouTube. Robbie's in the house. I appreciate you coming on, my man.
Yeah, although, good, man. Good.
Yeah, although I'm really scared about your team, and we'll get onto that a little bit later. But as things are you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Not too bad. You know what I mean? Looking forward to the game. As we know, it's not what it used to be. Like, it used to be the game.
Yeah.
Now it's still a big game. It's still a huge game worldwide, but it's not the game. I'd love it to be back to. I was watching this morning, actually. We was doing a bit of content for Sky, and they were showing us like some. You know, we had to like comment on some of the old games.
Yeah.
And man, when I was just looking at the footage, Vieira, Keane,
yeah,
you know, you saw all those greats playing, man. It's like, wow.
Do you know what it reminds me of? You know, at the moment, Nigel Benn's thinking about coming back into boxing.
Yeah.
It's like watching Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank fight now.
Well, not quite as bad as that.
Yeah, but it just feels,
it's not the same.
It's a big game, but it's big because both of us are in, like, not trouble, but there's still a lot of toxic atmosphere around both clubs. A lot of fans not happy.
Yeah.
There's the jury's still out on whether Ollie and Unai are good enough.
Two teams in the Europa League. If you'd have said that, in the glory days of when we was having that fixture, that Man United Arsenal in the Europa League, you'd be like, what?
Yeah. Nah. And Tottenham and City were finishing above them in the league. Nobody would ever have believed that.
It's madness.
But good result for you lot last night.
It was. It was a good display. Going to the game, I was thinking this is going to be a load of you can be a very young team. And I was thinking, but then when I got quite excited, I saw the team sheet because Tierney was in, who we haven't seen yet. Obviously, he's been injured, and also Bellerin was on the bench, and Martinelli, who I saw pre-season, play some excellent football. He was in. He scored 2 goals, and I think the really exciting thing around Arsenal at the moment is they've got a lot of really young, exciting players. Saka. Willock, and I think the other thing is as well, what I found last night, and I found in also the last week, the Europa League game, you can see the hunger in those young players because they know there's a pathway to the first team. I don't think they've always had that. There's always been a couple of individuals that may get a little look in, but basically you play your EFL Cup game, and it's back to the under-23s and just jog on and everybody else. But now I think there's guys playing there last night, like Saka, like Martinelli, like Willock, who scored in the game as well, that know that a good performance in that game can catapult you into the first team against Man United. So they're hungry. They're all hungry to do really well. You can see that, and it reflected in the, Forest have been doing well in the Championship.
They are.
Brought a lot of fans.
And I thought
we beat them 5-0.
Yeah, and I think it was the first time as well for this season where I've looked at Arsenal and thought, you look comfortable. In a lot of your other games, you've conceded lots of chances.
Yeah, that's true.
You've had it.
I mean, Forest did play into our hands a bit. They sat very deep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they played into our hands. But yeah, you're right. It is the first game that, because we've been giving up so many chances. I mean, that's one of the things that's been very frustrating about this season.
Yeah.
We're not used to that, especially at home. Away, yes, we are used to that.
Yeah.
But at home, we're not used to like teams that's really. I mean, Villa the other day, they really came at us. I had to commend them, man, the way they played.
Yeah.
And they nearly pulled it off. So
when you're doing your fan cams, I know some get pushed out there and go quite viral. I know Sonny's at the weekend still wanting Unai Emery to be sacked. But what's the? Yeah, I mean, I've had challenges with him personally where you're like, you got to give it time.
I thought that's
what's the mix like? What's the mix like though, in terms of people supporting the manager against people that don't want him there anymore, in your view?
Oh, no, listen, I think Sonny's like the only person who said he wants him sacked.
Okay,
so I think Claude as well says he would rather a change now. Those two. Everybody else, I think, is behind the manager. There's some people who've got a bit doubts. There are doubts creeping into people's minds because I think the reasons for those doubts is he's not fixed the defensive problems that we've had. I think a lot of fans thought that when he came in, that was what would be his first thing he'd do. He'd be sort out the defence.
Yeah.
It's not sorted. It's still the same. You know what I mean? We're so easy to score against.
David Luiz ain't that guy.
Well, and David Luiz, it's not just David Luiz. It's like from the midfield, it's too easy to get through Arsenal. You see, we'll attack a team and then they'll just win the ball and one ball, boom, they're in. And it's so easy. And I think that's the frustration. A lot of fans are like, well, come on, why are we still witnessing this? The same old problems, right?
Yeah.
And that's the source of frustration. So it's a big season for Unai Emery. And I think as well, he didn't finish off last season very well. He had a good season up until right towards the end of the season. We threw away top 4. We should have got that. We had the easiest run-in. We'd set ourselves up nicely, had an easy run-in, and we blew it. We lost at home to Crystal Palace. I think that was the manager's fault because he underestimated Palace, played a very weakened team, and they took full advantage of it. And then we drew a dreadful draw with Brighton.
Yeah.
And that cost us, we missed out by 1 point.
That top 4 finish.
And, we should have got in the top 4. And then, of course, you had the final Europa League, humiliated in the final by Chelsea. Good first half, and then we just fell apart in the second half. And then we've then come back to a new season, and we've been really indifferent. We've had a few wins. The thing is, but the performances, like you said, apart from the one in the EFL Cup, the performances, you're like, we won the game, but we gave up so many chances, and that's worrying.
Yeah, I think a lot of what I've seen with Arsenal has been, if it wasn't for the fact that you do have genuine world-class attacking players. When you look at Aubameyang, I know a lot of people try and throw salties where, but for me, I just think, something I've read somewhere, it's sort of like 300 plus goal contributions in just over 320 games is ridiculous. Anyone who's challenging that is
I've argued
mad.
with so many, with fans of other clubs. Even sometimes I've had fans of our club say, he doesn't work hard enough. I said, listen, the guy's there to score goals. He scores goals. If you look at his record, going right back to Borussia Dortmund, and every single year, this guy's hitting 30s, 1 year 40, right? I mean, never really ever does less than 20 goals for the season. Even when he came to Arsenal, straight away, hit the ground running, and he's a truly world-class striker.
Without a doubt.
I think if he was a bit younger, we'd have major problems keeping him. Because So up front, when we've got Lacazette, Nicolas Pepe's coming now. Up front we're all right, man. But it's that defensive sort of problems which starts from the midfield. It's not just the defenders.
On your midfield, what I don't understand, maybe I missed something being a United fan, why is Torreira not starting games? Because that kid for me is class.
We can't work it out. The manager prefers Xhaka. Before that, Wenger was the same thing. They love Xhaka. Xhaka's a good player, but for me, he's just a bit slow. So against teams, I noticed Xhaka in Europe, he seems to do better, where he's got more time on the ball. Than when he's playing in the Premier League and teams target him. They press up on Xhaka. He's very left-footed. He's very slow. He'll make mistakes. He'll make errors. And then from there, they can attack the back 4. Whereas Torreira, I think Terrace is a more forward-thinking. Even though he's a defensive midfielder, he'll get the ball, try and play it forward. He tries to move it quicker. Willock as well. I think you could play those two as holding players because they're more dynamic. So I don't know, man. I don't know why he ain't playing. I like Torreira, and he was having a great season last year, and then he tailed off towards the end. And then this season, he's been hardly playing. I mean, I know he obviously he was away with Uruguay and everything like that, but I don't get it. I really don't.
Yeah, it's one of those shocks to me. Ahead of the game, we spoke upstairs. Arsenal's record at Old Trafford,
terrible.
Yeah, it's not great at all. However, United at the moment started the season well, and it seems to have just progressively gone backwards. Do you have any fears or reservations? Is there any in particular players at United that you're concerned about, or do you think that this could be a chance for Arsenal to go to Old Trafford, get 3 points, and compound Ollie's fate further?
It's definitely a chance, but I remember a few years ago when we went to Old Trafford, you had so many players out, and I looked at the team sheet, and I remember there's me and some of the guys outside, and we're like, come on, man, today, this is the day. We can't lose this today. Look at their team, man. It's like basically a B team. And then that was the day where Rashford announced himself and scored 2 goals.
Yeah.
Right? So, and then you got that Greenwood. From all accounts, what I'm hearing is a top player. Maybe he might come into that game and announce it. Because we always seem to make players announce themselves.
Wayne Rooney did it back in the day,
Wayne Rooney did it at Everton. So, I don't know. We've got the team to beat Manchester United. I don't think Manchester United has, I think they have quality players. You look at your team, Pogba, Maguire, De Gea, Martial. There's quality players there, but obviously you're not playing to the fullness of. It's not the Man United of old. I don't think teams are going there now scared, thinking, "Oh my God, I'll take a point now."
Yeah.
I think teams
No
are
one's
going there like, I fancy ourselves today. We can take 3 points. I think if Arsenal pick the right team, we can win it. But it's Man United. It's a Monday night. It's a big game. Every player's going to be stepping up, and you've got some dangerous players. I've been impressed with that James. I think he's a very good player. I mean,
do you know, with James, he's one of those guys. He's raw. And I've said all season that what I think we're going to get with him is 2 or 3 games where he's going to score some goals, look great, and then he'll fade away for 3 or 4 games and come. It's going to take him
he's
a couple
hungry
of
though,
years.
and that's the same
it.
thing I was saying, like with when watching the team that playing the EFL. Guys like Saka, they're hungry. Willock, they're playing like, they ain't really got nothing to lose. They're like, I'm in the first team, and they give everything. Like somebody like Willock, he will die on that pitch for Arsenal.
And
sometimes you need a bit of that.
You do. And what I noticed is, for instance, if you look at Dan James, if he tries to beat a man, it doesn't work twice. He goes a 3rd time, goes a 4th time, he keeps going.
That's what you want.
I've seen too many Man United players in recent years, and I know Arsenal have had the same thing, and you would point at someone like an Ozil or this. If it doesn't work the first couple of times, it's almost like their heads drop and they stop trying. But yeah, Man United certainly have dangerous players. I think if Pogba and Martial are not fit, I genuinely do not give us a chance. Because
Pogba should be fit, shouldn't he?
It should be.
And, Pogba's I think he can be a big-time player. That on the big occasion, he can step up. And if we don't...
He's got a brand new haircut as well. He's put red and white in his hair.
He's always got a haircut.
He's got a wicked new haircut.
But, he's quality. I'd have him in Arsenal in a heartbeat. But I think we've also got some quality players now. In the midfield, that's Dani Ceballos.
Yeah.
Has looked very, very good so far. If he steps up, Guendouzi's been playing brilliantly for a 20-year-old kid. He's driving the team right now.
Yeah.
He's been excellent. And then, of course, Aubameyang up front. Pepe, when he's been a bit indifferent. When he scored that penalty against Villa, you could see it lifted him, and you could see
that
now
pressure.
that pressure's gone.
He's a £72 million player, needs to perform, and what a game for him to do it. If he puts in that man of the match performance or grabs that winning goal, Arsenal fans have already got his back, but they'll just endear to him straight away. It's a huge opportunity.
You score at Old Trafford, score the winner at Old Trafford. You're never forgotten. Will Tord is never forgotten at Arsenal.
Exactly.
Because of that goal that he scored to win us the title there. So it's, a game like this is where a Nicolas Pepe can step up, and he's a very, very dangerous player. You do have a good defence though. I'm impressed with Wan-Bissaka. I liked him when he was at Palace. I'd have loved Arsenal to have gone in for him. And obviously Maguire. But I think it's quite an even game. But what I really want to see Arsenal do, I saw Tierney. I know it's early. I saw Tierney against Forest. I know it's only Forest as well, but I liked what I saw. I'm like, get him in straight away. For me, that's the one gamble I'd take. I'd like throw him in.
Yeah.
He's up and down the pitch. He's quick. He will pose a lot of problems, I feel, to Manchester United. And again, it's one I want him, hungry players. Another one of them players that might be thinking, this could be the game to announce myself.
Yeah.
So
I think you need to, because I watched him last night and I was impressed. Equally, I remember in the summer when you were linked with him, I spoke to a few of my friends up in Scotland, and I tried not to speak to a Rangers or a Celtic fan because there's always going to be a bit of bias.
Yeah.
But a lot of the Scottish, they can't differentiate and choose between Tierney or Robertson. They think they are both equally as good as each other. Different areas, one's stronger than the other, but they're as good as each other as being left back. So if Arsenal truly have signed a left back that's comparable to Robertson, that's a top signing. And the fact you got him for 20 odd million is, I just still can't believe how ridiculously cheap you got such a good quality.
And the other thing is about it is that when I spoke to some Celtic fans, right, and they said the one thing about him, this is what I liked when they said this, they go, that guy run for a brick wall for Celtic. They go, his mentality. And I think that's so important, because we've seen with Arsenal over the years, we've had some players, they talented players and that, but when the going gets tough,
they leave. You go back to Evra's comments, man versus boys, so often.
I'm not even on about they leave, but I'm just, when the going gets tough in a game, they just disappear. Whereas I think there's a few fighters. Guendouzi has been so impressive this season. That kid is a fighter. He's 20. He led the fight back the other day against Villa. He led the fight back the other day against Tottenham, right? He is a real fighter, that kid. You know what I mean? He demands the ball at 20. Give me it, I'll make something happen. Yeah. We need more players like that in the team, and it's great to see if Tierney's another one. I think Ceballos is that type of player. We know Aubameyang is. We have a few more characters like that in the team. That all bodes well. However, our defence.
Yeah, that's the one
That's
thing.
the thing that worries me, man. It's just like...
Because if Pogba and Martial both play and they can pull off some of their magic, with how many opportunities Watford and even Villa got at home, if we can create anywhere near that level, we're going to get opportunity to score.
It's how brave both teams are going to be, I think.
Yes.
If United are going to be brave and go... I've watched United recently, I'm like, wow, this is like... even against Leicester, there were bits of the game where they went for it. Then there are other bits that were just in their shell again.
Yeah, there's a confidence issue. There's a real confidence issue, massively. And
we're a bit the same. We're like, we go away from home. I think this is another reason fans have been criticising Emery. We'll go away from home, and we don't know what we do. I don't know what the style is. Are we going for it, or are we sitting back, or you can't work it out? And I want Unai Emery to make Arsenal go to Old Trafford and be on the front foot. I really do think this is an occasion where we can be on the front foot.
You're not playing Liverpool or City, who would demolish you on the counter because of their superiority.
Yeah, I understood what he did against Liverpool, and it was working until we gave him 2 free gifts.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Which we've been giving all season. We've been giving away all gifts all season.
I think if you come to Old Trafford as Arsenal with the team you've got, and just sit back and allow us to play and almost bottle it to an extent without... I think that would be such a waste. Arsenal need to come to Old Trafford. I mean, I don't want you to do this, but you've got to come and you've got to be on the front foot. What you saw in the second half against Villa, as you mentioned with Guendouzi, and the way you guys went for it and that determination, give me the ball, trying to make something happen. That's my fear. If you do that to Man United, that's where I'm worried about us crumbling. And us. If you guys let us have the ball and let us play and let us boss it...
Which we do sometimes away from home. We sit back... Right, we let pressure come onto us. That was the second half against Watford, you know what I mean? And then we were just all over the place.
But then what I want to see from our point of view, and I saw it from Scott McTominay against Leicester. There was 2 or 3 tackles that he went into. Now, everyone knows Scott McTominay is not the most technically gifted player in the world, but what he had in that middle was tenacity and energy. The problem is...
Big guys, what, Lenny?
Yeah, he's a big lad. The issue is, though, he turns around and looks around and half of his teammates aren't joining in with him. What I want to see my team do, even if Arsenal do come and give it, I want to see Man United go out there and say, okay, you think you can have it? We're going to up it another level.
How it used to be,
and that's how it was, and that's what I want to see, and I want to see that encouragement, and I want them to have courage, because I know Arsenal fans feel the same as Man United. That if Man United stood up in the game on Monday night, and they give it their all, and they fight back, and they push, even if they only got a draw, or even if they lost, but the team thought, you know what, we really worked hard today, we created the opportunities, we were brave, there'll be a lot more support than if we just sit back and, like we did against West Ham, and we die with a whimper. That's what I hate seeing.
That's the thing where we look on it and we say with both teams that it's just not the teams of old, because we wouldn't even have to be having this conversation.
No, it would all be about who our best players are, what we're going to do to you.
We know that there's, at the very least, there's going to be lots of fight and passion out there on that pitch. But now, you don't know, you know what I mean? So I'm hoping the same from Arsenal, you know what I mean? As I said, I want to see the second half performance against Tottenham, the second half performance against Villa, where we went for it, right? We were brave. I want to see that. I don't want to see this tentative stuff we've been doing recently. I'm like,
I get that.
We've got some quality players. We've got a better team this year than we had last year,
100%,
in my opinion.
100%.
So we need to start performing. We've been indifferent so far this season. As I said, you know what I mean? We could have lost that game to Villa. You know, we got out of jail. You know what I mean? Tottenham 2-0 down. You know, so we got to start stepping it up now, performance-wise, and especially, as I said, the midfield and defending. We've got to be more organised in midfield. It's too easy to get through us, and then they're into the back four, and then that back four makes so many mistakes. It's unbelievable. Self-inflicted goals against Liverpool. Gave away 2 gifts in that game. We lost that game 3-1. In the game against Watford, 2 absolute gifts.
Crazy, crazy football.
You know, all right, a bit unfortunate with the first Villa goal, but the second goal, again, switched off. We just got back into the game, switched off, let them back in. We've got to, we've kept 2 clean sheets in the last couple of games, but that's not the same calibre of opposition we're going to face.
No, and you need to grow from that. What would your score prediction be? Like, hand on heart, what do you think the result will be?
I think if they go brave, 2-1 to Arsenal. If we're brave. If we're not brave, who knows? It could be anything, man, with us.
I get the sense, I don't think Man United are going to win. I think it's going to be quite a high-scoring game, though. I'm going to go like a 3-3 draw. Because both teams, just there's weaknesses in both teams.
You've got a good defence, though.
We have, maybe. But I thought that before we played West Ham. But we haven't gone up against anybody with an attack as good as yours yet.
Yeah, I suppose.
In Chelsea, and although we won 4-0, Chelsea could have been 2 or 3-0 up in that game. You know, they hit the post a number of times. Tammy Abraham was unlucky. If you guys come out like a ball in a china shop from the first whistle, you could catch us off guard, because I don't know if our midfield is strong enough. Again, it's often, you said the same thing, it isn't always our defenders are poor. If the midfield leaks, instantly the centre-backs are pulled out of position, so it isn't always their fault. And if you think back to when Arsenal had an amazing defence and Man United did in the 90s and early 2000s, it was also because our midfield was so solid.
Great midfield, that's what I say all the time.
That's missing now from
Great
both.
midfielders sitting in front of them and organised midfields as well. So there was not these big gaps, what I see now with Arsenal. So, yeah, you're right. You're so right. It's about defending as a team. And I think whilst everyone digs out, you know, some of the players, and there have been some very bad individual errors like Socrates and people like that, but I just look on it and think to myself, you know, we're not been defending well as a team.
Yeah.
Those guys, a lot of times there's like 4 players bearing down on 3 defenders. You know, I mean, that's not right. You know?
No, I agree completely, mate. And I've seen that at Man United over the years as well. It's painful, and you want the clubs to go and sort it out, because you just think, well, we've done it before and we've produced it. Other teams have managed to fix themselves. What are we doing? And our clubs still have a lot of attraction and a lot of prestige and a lot of money to be able to, you know, we've got probably, barring Liverpool, we've got the biggest 2 sets of supporters globally around the world. There's no doubt. You travel the world with Arsenal. Everywhere you go, it's crazy. So all those people generate money for the club. We know how much Man United have just hit new records, £627 million of turnover. But yet, we don't have a 20-goal a season striker. We can't have a midfielder. It doesn't make. It's because behind the scenes things ain't being run properly.
I think it looks like you've got the bit like what Arsenal had. You have great marketing people and that behind the scene, but no football people to buy the players.
Exactly.
We fortunately, I think now we have got a good recruitment team in, and they've made some good signings. The defender's still the problem. We still, I know they were looking to try and get. They're looking at centre halves. They are looking to try and solve that. I think when Bellerin and Tierney are in there, we're a different team. I've already seen bits of it. I think we're going to be a different team with those 2 in, but it's how quick can we get them back?
Sweet. Mate, appreciate you coming on as ever.
Nice one, Terry.
I would normally wish you good luck, but I'm not.
I wish you good luck. No, I don't.
Yeah, that's it. Mate, do us a big favour, everyone. Hit the like button, hit the share button as well. We'll see you all again soon. Bye-bye.